Have you ever found yourself lying awake after an intimate moment, wondering why she never seemed fully engaged, even though you genuinely tried your best? Have you ever asked yourself, what am I missing? Or why doesn't she seem as excited as I hoped? If those thoughts have crossed your mind, you're far from alone. Over the years, I've spoken with countless men who believed they were doing everything right, yet still felt confused when intimacy didn't unfold the way they expected. The truth is, one of the biggest reasons for this confusion is that foreplay has been misunderstood for generations. Many men grow up believing it's simply a short routine before sex. A few kisses, a little touching, maybe oral stimulation, then it's time to move on, but that's exactly where so many people get stuck. When foreplay becomes nothing more than a checklist, it loses the very thing that makes it powerful. Instead of creating excitement, it begins to feel mechanical. Instead of building connection, it creates pressure. And instead of bringing two people closer together, it can quietly leave both partners feeling disconnected. Now imagine approaching intimacy in a completely different way. Imagine using one simple approach that doesn't just prepare her body, but helps her feel emotionally secure, genuinely desired, and completely comfortable in your presence. A method that allows attraction to build naturally instead of forcing it. Today, I want to share one of the most effective approaches to foreplay that I've taught throughout my years working as a urologist and men's health specialist. This isn't based on myths or internet trends. It's built on biology, emotional connection, and the way the human body naturally responds to intimacy. Before we get started, I'd really appreciate a small favor. If you enjoy practical, science-based advice that can strengthen your relationship, take a second to like this video. If you're interested in learning more about men's health, confidence, and lasting intimacy, make sure you subscribe. And I'd also love to know where you're watching from. So, leave your country or city in the comments below. It's always amazing to see people joining this community from all around the world. Now let's clear up one of the biggest misunderstandings that causes frustration for both men and women. Many people believe that foreplay begins by touching a woman's most intimate areas. It sounds logical at first, but that's not how the body actually works. If she isn't already becoming aroused, that type of stimulation often feels ineffective, uncomfortable, or even overwhelming. Her body simply hasn't reached the point where it can respond the way you expect. From a biological standpoint, her nervous system hasn't fully activated yet. Blood flow hasn't increased enough. The sensitive tissues haven't become fully responsive. In other words, her body hasn't switched into a state where pleasure can naturally grow. That's why rushing straight to intimate stimulation often creates disappointment instead of excitement. Real foreplay isn't about racing toward the finish line. It's about gently awakening the entire nervous system, one step at a time. Think about lighting a campfire. If you pour fuel onto cold pieces of wood without first creating warmth, nothing meaningful happens. But when you patiently build the fire with careful attention, steady airflow, and the right amount of time, the smallest spark slowly grows into a strong and lasting flame. Human desire works in a surprisingly similar way. When emotional safety, physical comfort, and gentle stimulation come together, attraction begins to build naturally. And once that process starts, it often grows much faster than most people expect. Instead of feeling pressured, she begins to feel appreciated. Instead of feeling rushed, she feels valued. Instead of simply preparing for sex, she begins enjoying every moment leading up to it. That changes the entire experience for both partners. Intimacy becomes more relaxed, connection becomes stronger, pleasure lasts longer, and both people leave feeling more satisfied. Not because of a secret trick, but because the body was allowed to respond the way it was designed to. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Dr. Rena, a practicing urologist and men's health specialist. And for years, I've worked with men who wanted more than just stronger physical performance. Many of them wanted to rebuild confidence. They wanted to reconnect with their partners. They wanted intimacy that felt natural instead of stressful. One lesson has remained true throughout my career. Successful intimacy has never been only about physical ability. It's never been about memorizing techniques or trying to impress someone. The strongest relationships are built when you understand both the body and the emotions behind it. When those two pieces come together, intimacy becomes something completely different. It becomes deeper, more meaningful, and far more enjoyable for both partners. In the next part, I'll explain the first major mistakes many men unknowingly make during foreplay, why those habits reduce desire instead of building it, and what you should do differently if you want to create genuine connection from the very beginning. One of the most common concerns I hear from couples is that they genuinely care about each other, yet they still struggle to feel emotionally connected during intimate moments. In many cases, the issue isn't a lack of love or attraction. It's a lack of understanding about how emotional connection and physical comfort work together. Healthy intimacy doesn't begin with a specific physical action. It begins with communication, trust, and making sure both partners feel respected and comfortable. When those foundations are missing, even well-intentioned gestures can be misunderstood. That's why slowing down and paying attention to your partner's responses is so important. One mistake I often see is assuming that every person experiences intimacy in exactly the same way. In reality, every individual is different. What helps one person feel relaxed and connected may not have the same effect on someone else. The healthiest approach is to remain curious, patient, and willing to listen instead of relying on assumptions. Another common misunderstanding is believing that physical closeness alone creates emotional intimacy. While affectionate touch can certainly strengthen a relationship, it works best when both partners feel emotionally safe. Simple gestures like maintaining eye contact, sharing genuine compliments, holding hands, or giving an unhurried embrace can often build a stronger sense of connection than rushing into more intimate moments. Research in relationship psychology consistently shows that emotional safety plays an important role in relationship satisfaction. When people feel accepted without pressure or expectations, they are generally more open to expressing affection and closeness. That doesn't happen because of a secret technique. It happens because trust grows over time through consistent respect and caring behavior. Communication is another area where many couples struggle. Some people expect their partner to automatically know what they enjoy or what makes them feel comfortable. Unfortunately, that's rarely how healthy relationships work. Open conversations about boundaries, preferences, comfort levels, and expectations are not signs that something is wrong. They're signs of a mature relationship. The more honestly two people communicate, the easier it becomes to understand each other's needs without confusion or unnecessary disappointment. As a physician, I also remind couples that physical and emotional health are closely connected. Stress, anxiety, poor sleep, hormonal changes, chronic medical conditions, certain medications, and even daily life pressures can all influence intimacy. If either partner notices ongoing changes in desire, comfort, or sexual function, it's important not to blame one another. Instead, approach the situation as a team. Sometimes, a simple medical evaluation or an honest conversation with a qualified healthcare professional can identify an issue that is both common and treatable. Healthy relationships are not built on perfect performance. They're built on mutual respect, patience, empathy, and the willingness to keep learning about each other over time. The strongest couples aren't the ones who never face challenges. They're the ones who continue communicating, continue listening, and continue supporting each other through every stage of life. In the next part, we'll discuss how emotional presence, active listening, and consistent communication can help couples strengthen intimacy naturally while maintaining trust, consent, and long-term relationship satisfaction. As relationships grow over time, one of the biggest lessons couples learn is that intimacy is not something you achieve once and then keep forever. It changes with age, with life experiences, with health, and even with the everyday stresses that come from work, family, and responsibilities. That's why successful couples don't expect every day to feel exactly the same. Instead, they learn how to adapt while continuing to prioritize each other. One of the healthiest habits you can develop is being fully present when you're with your partner. That may sound simple, but in today's world, it's becoming increasingly rare. Phones, television, social media, work emails, and daily distractions often compete for our attention. Even when two people are sitting together, they may not truly be connecting with each other. Emotional presence means giving your partner your complete attention, even if it's only for a short period each day. It means listening without interrupting. It means making eye contact during conversations. It means noticing changes in their mood and asking how they're feeling instead of assuming everything is fine. These small moments of connection gradually build emotional trust. And emotional trust is one of the strongest foundations of a healthy relationship. Another important point is learning to recognize that communication isn't only about speaking. It's also about listening carefully and responding with empathy. When your partner shares a concern, try to understand their perspective before thinking about how you're going to respond. Many disagreements continue, not because couples don't love each other, but because each person is waiting for their turn to speak instead of truly listening. Sometimes your partner isn't looking for an immediate solution. Sometimes they simply want to feel heard, understood, and supported. That emotional validation can strengthen a relationship far more than offering quick advice. Healthy couples also understand the importance of respecting boundaries. Consent isn't a single conversation that happens once. It's an ongoing process of checking in with each other, respecting comfort levels, and recognizing that feelings can change from one day to another. Mutual respect creates an environment where both partners feel emotionally secure. When people know their thoughts, feelings, and boundaries will be respected, trust naturally grows stronger. Physical health also plays a meaningful role in relationship wellness. Regular exercise, balanced nutrition, adequate sleep, and stress management all contribute to overall well-being. These habits support cardiovascular health, hormone balance, energy levels, and emotional resilience, all of which can positively influence intimacy over time. It's also important to remember that many common medical conditions, including diabetes, high blood pressure, depression, anxiety, and certain medications, can affect sexual health for both men and women. These changes are not personal failures. They're health concerns that deserve understanding rather than judgment. If something changes unexpectedly, don't suffer in silence or assume it's simply part of getting older. A qualified healthcare professional can often identify the cause and recommend safe evidence-based treatment options. The strongest relationships are built by two people who view challenges as something they face together rather than something they blame on each other. Support, kindness, patience, and honest communication often become even more valuable than grand romantic gestures. Over time, these everyday habits create a relationship where both partners feel appreciated, respected, and emotionally connected. And when that kind of connection becomes part of daily life, intimacy tends to feel more natural, more comfortable, and more meaningful. In the next part, we'll explore practical ways couples can maintain emotional closeness over the years, strengthen trust through daily habits, and continue building a relationship that remains healthy, supportive, and fulfilling through every stage of life. One of the most important things to understand about long-term relationships is that connection is not maintained by one big moment. It is created through many small moments repeated consistently over time. A relationship becomes stronger when both partners continue showing interest, appreciation, and care in everyday life. Many people believe that passion and closeness naturally disappear as the years pass, but in reality, many couples discover that their relationship can become even more meaningful with time when they continue investing in each other. Age itself is not the reason intimacy changes. Often it is the lack of communication, unresolved stress, health challenges, or emotional distance that creates problems. The good news is that many of these challenges can be improved when couples approach them with patience and understanding. One of the simplest ways to strengthen a relationship is to continue learning about your partner. People change throughout life. Their priorities change, their concerns change, their bodies change, their emotional needs can change as well. The person you met years ago may still be the same person you love, but they are also someone who has grown through new experiences. Taking time to understand who your partner is today creates a deeper level of connection. This can happen through simple conversations. Ask questions, share thoughts, talk about dreams, worries, memories, and future goals. These conversations remind both people that they are not just living alongside each other. They are continuing to build a life together. Another important part of maintaining closeness is showing appreciation. Many relationships become weaker because partners slowly stop expressing gratitude. They begin assuming that the other person already knows they are valued. But hearing appreciation and feeling appreciated are powerful experiences. A sincere compliment, a thank you, or a small act of kindness can have a significant impact on emotional connection. Healthy intimacy is also connected to emotional confidence. When people feel accepted and respected by their partner, they are more likely to feel comfortable expressing themselves honestly. On the other hand, criticism, pressure, or fear of judgment can create emotional barriers. This is why creating a supportive environment matters so much. A relationship should be a place where both people feel safe being themselves. It's also important to understand that every couple experiences different seasons in life. There may be periods when stress is higher. There may be times when health concerns require more attention. There may be moments when responsibilities make it difficult to focus on the relationship. These challenges are normal. What matters is how couples respond to them. Instead of becoming distant, successful couples learn to communicate during difficult periods. They ask for support when needed, they adjust their expectations, they work together rather than allowing problems to create separation. From a medical perspective, maintaining overall health is one of the best things people can do for themselves and their relationships. A healthy lifestyle supports physical energy, emotional balance, and confidence. Regular movement, nutritious food, quality sleep, and managing stress are not only good for your body, they also improve your ability to connect with the people you care about. Mental health deserves equal attention. Anxiety, depression, chronic stress, and emotional exhaustion can influence every area of life, including relationships. Seeking help when needed is a sign of strength, not weakness. A healthy relationship requires healthy individuals who are willing to care for themselves and each other. Remember, intimacy is not measured by perfection. It is measured by understanding. It is measured by trust. It is measured by two people choosing each other again and again, even as life changes around them. When couples focus on communication, respect, and emotional connection, they create the foundation for a relationship that can continue growing for many years. In the final part, we'll bring everything together and discuss the most important principles that help couples maintain lasting connection, confidence, and a healthy approach to intimacy throughout life. When we talk about intimacy in relationships, it's important to remember that there is no single formula that works perfectly for every couple. Every relationship has its own story. Every person has their own experiences, emotions, preferences, and challenges. The goal is not to copy someone else's relationship. The goal is to understand your own relationship better and continue building a connection based on trust, respect, and care. One of the most powerful things a couple can do is create an environment where both partners feel valued. Feeling valued means knowing that your thoughts matter. It means knowing that your emotions are respected. It means feeling that your partner sees you as a complete person, not just one part of your life together. This kind of emotional security creates the foundation for deeper connection. And that foundation becomes even more important as people move through different stages of life. Many couples worry that changes in age, health, or circumstances mean they can no longer experience a fulfilling relationship. But this is a misunderstanding. A healthy relationship does not depend on staying exactly the same forever. It depends on learning how to grow together. Life will always bring changes. Bodies change, responsibilities change, priorities change, but the ability to communicate, support each other, and show compassion can continue developing throughout life. Another important lesson is that asking for help should never be viewed as a failure. Many people avoid discussing relationship concerns or changes in sexual health because they feel embarrassed or believe they should handle everything alone. But healthcare professionals see these concerns every day. Many issues that affect intimacy are common, understandable, and treatable. Whether the challenge is related to stress, hormones, medications, medical conditions, emotional health, or relationship difficulties, the first step toward improvement is recognizing that something has changed. Ignoring a problem usually creates more frustration. Addressing it with honesty creates an opportunity for healing and improvement. A strong relationship is not built by avoiding difficult conversations. It is built by having those conversations with kindness and respect. Remember that your partner is not your opponent. You are both on the same team. When a challenge appears, the healthiest approach is to work together rather than searching for someone to blame. This mindset changes everything. It transforms problems into opportunities to understand each other better. It turns moments of frustration into moments of growth, and over time, it strengthens the bond between two people. From a medical perspective, I always encourage people to take care of their overall health because the body and mind are deeply connected. Movement, proper nutrition, quality sleep, stress management, and regular medical checkups all contribute to a better quality of life. Taking care of yourself is not only something you do for your own benefit, it also allows you to show up more fully for the people you love. But beyond all medical advice, one principle remains the most important. Connection comes from understanding. A relationship becomes stronger when two people continue choosing patience over frustration, communication over silence, and compassion over judgment. Intimacy is not about being perfect. It is not about meeting unrealistic expectations. It is about creating a relationship where both people feel safe, respected, and appreciated. The strongest couples are not those who never face difficulties. They are the ones who learn how to face those difficulties together. They continue asking questions, they continue listening, they continue showing care even during challenging seasons of life. And that is what allows a relationship to remain meaningful over many years. So if there is one message I want you to remember, it is this. Healthy intimacy begins long before any private moment. It begins with how you speak to each other. It begins with how you treat each other every day. It begins with trust, respect, and the willingness to understand the person beside you. Small changes in communication and emotional connection can create powerful improvements in a relationship. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. You need honesty. And you need the willingness to keep learning. If you found this information helpful, consider sharing it with someone who may benefit from a healthier understanding of relationships and intimacy. And remember, taking care of your relationship is also part of taking care of your overall health. I'm Dr. Rena, and my goal is always to provide clear science-based information that helps you build confidence, improve your well-being, and create stronger connections with the people who matter most. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next